I am Iman Bashir. I am 24 years old and based in Toronto, Canada.
Hello, everybody. This is Gertrude Macha here in beautiful Wellington, New Zealand. Welcome back to the Herstory TV, Herstory podcast, and now the Herstory magazine. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my amazing guest coming to us all the way from Canada. Please tell us your full name, where you're based, how old you are, and share your story with us today.
Perfect. I am Iman Bashir. I am 24 years old and based in Toronto, Canada.
Where does your story begin?
Story begins basically all the way from when I was 7 or 8 years old on the playground, bartering food for different, I was always an entrepreneur. And when I was 11 years old, I started receiving there was golf balls in our backyard. And I started selling golf balls. And for as long as I could remember, I was just always like a little hustler. And so when I went to university, I went to university in Canada, I noticed that there was a big void that I was feeling, that I could not find enough female mentors or people in leadership that I could really look out to. And I found that it was really hard for me to find girlfriends that were also very studious and that loved to study together. And so I thought, why are there so many different types of male clubs? I'm going to create a woman in leadership organization. Soon I figured out that a lot of women were feeling the same way as me, that they felt like they didn't have any kind of platform where they could connect with like-minded people or mentors. And so we sought out to create a woman in leadership organization. I was only 17 years old creating this, and it became so big. It became one of the largest organizations on campus. Then in my third year, I was poached by this amazing founder that wanted to throw what I was doing at scale. So I was doing conferences with a couple hundred people, and I was like, this is so hard, this is impossible. And all of a sudden I had someone coming to me being like, hey, do you want to do one with 15,000 people? Oh yeah, and Michelle Obama is going to be there, and Whitney Wolf, let's make this happen. And I'm like, okay, I can't turn this down. Dropped out of school. I was in school for sciences, but it never really felt like me. I always felt like I was always like a little hustler. I needed to be a business student. So I switched to my second year and I did a lot of programming courses, but school was just never really for me. And so I dropped out of school, executed this conference, and in 170 days, we did it. It was a 4-day conference that really put Toronto on the map for Toronto tech. And now in Toronto, it's like it's like Toronto International Film Festival. It's like South by Southwest. It's a renowned conference. But my thing was, for me, it didn't feel like enough. I always thought that I felt like I wanted to be a part of something that I owned, that was my baby, and that I was not working for someone else. So I went from there, parted, very great relationship with everyone, but I was like, something's missing. I want to do it on my own. So I met up the founder of Audiobooks was like, do you want to join a video facial recognition company? Let's make this happen. It was definitely a twist from what I was doing, but I was like, I'm young, I'm going to work as hard as I can. And then after 8 months, it started turning into not a technology company. It was turning into a restaurant to execute a concept. And so I sold my shares, and then I'm like, what now? I left school for no reason. I did not know what to do. Leaving school, my whole family was like not approving of it. I had these moments of everything I kept trying to do kept failing. I tried a transcription company where people transcribe voice to text. That wasn't working. It wasn't scalable. I tried a bunch of different things. And for me, I even tried there was a couple people at the very beginning that's always believed in me. And even with them, I tried executing stuff, but I just couldn't really get my grasp on it. And I always felt like I was working for another powerful man, or like giving up some of my equity or partnership. I always thought that the only way I could become successful is if I had a man or something that's pulling me there, or someone handing me a silver platter. And I had this moment where everything changed when I realized that if I keep relying on other people, if I keep relying on, or thinking that I need a man, or thinking that I need this to achieve what I want to achieve, I'm never going to get anywhere. And I have had in all those failures, I think that there was like 10 different business ideas that I invested in myself. I was like, I put my own money, worked super hard, and there was different times. Like one time my code got stolen. One time someone took all my work and in the end said, oh, I'll give you 1%, and was making insane amount of money off of me just because I was younger. And then I thought, okay, what can I do so that I am irreplaceable and so that I have the cards in my hand? And I took time off and I went and learned how to code. I taught myself, did one of those little boot camps. And ever since then, it was that moment in my life which changed, where I'm like, I could build whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. And the one thing that has been stopping me this whole time is myself. And the one thing that has been stopping me is that blocker, that thing that I built in my head, that there always needs to be someone else. And from there, I was doing websites freelance just to pay for my living, and developed a skill set of design, and was outsourcing to India, and learning myself was irreplaceable. And I realized people kept telling me, you're doing websites, you're doing okay. Like, why do you need to learn how to make the website when you could pay someone $5 an hour? And I didn't understand it till I learned it. And now I'm like, a proper CEO knows how to do the janitor's job, and the job knows all the pieces. And I think it's important for appreciation and working with others. And I was doing websites, and I started doing more and more and more. And I realized that, like, every time I would go in, now at this point, my websites were getting good. And from the prior experiences, I was so scared to like be in the Toronto tech scene. I was so scared to go out because I'm like, I'm doing it myself. This may not be good enough. And so I would price people $1,000 to $2,000 per website. And then one day and people would always be like, okay, great. And I was working so hard. Then one day someone told me, they're like, whatever you think you're valued at, times it by 5, because you are what you set your value. And by you telling someone your price is that, they're going to value you at that when you're doing phenomenal websites. From that day going forward, I moved all my prices to minimum of 10K minimum. And I got a lot of no's, and I felt like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? And then ever since then, it just brought I started appreciating my work and put value on my work. And from then, I learned how to code through these websites, and I have been proud. And I always thought like money was I'm successful when I get my Tesla. I'm successful when I get a $7,000 per month apartment and my Prada bag. And every single time I saved up money and I started scaling this company, I got a client for $30,000 a month just for me. And I started scaling this. And I remember at the beginning, I thought, again, I made the same mistake. I thought that I have to involve a guy just to go to meetings, just so that people can take me seriously. I would literally hire someone to come in the room with me. And then would give people half the partnership for no reason. And that's when I realized, no, I am worth this. And I just did it. I just woke up one day and said, I'm worth this. And now I have real skill sets. I have things to back it. And ever since then, I'm actually proud of my work. For me now, it's not about other people. And since then, I've gotten the ability to actually work on enterprise clients. I am now building my own machine learning, artificial intelligence copy generator. And still to this day, everyone's like, artificial intelligence. You don't look like you know how to code, but I now use that as my strength. And I'm like, damn right. And I have hired, now we're at 7 people and I am self-funding. I'm not taking any funding from anyone else, just because if someone wants to be a part of it, I want it to be a strategic partnership. I don't want to just give parts that ownership just because I think that I have to. And I'm using all these different streams of revenue to pay for my passion and allow me and the team and create an environment where everyone is so happy. Like one of the girls working with us, she's like, I've always wanted to do a film festival. It has nothing to do with artificial intelligence. And I'm like, well, do you know what? 20% of our profits I want to put towards a venture fund where we can execute on our grandiose, crazy ideas. You want a bubble soccer tournament? Let's go do it. Figure out a way to integrate charity so it makes sense. Let's focus on being better people and not just about the money. And since then, everyone's asking me, everyone I most commonly hear, like, where did you go to school? How did you learn how to code? How did you get involved with this? Like, how are you traveling so much and don't have to be in an office? And it's one thing I wish I could just tell the younger version of myself, just so I could skip the 4 or 5 years of just running in circles, is that you
Okay,
are who you think you are.
I love that you've got there, because I was just about to ask you, number one, how old are you now? Because you started so young. And number two, if you were to have a conversation with a younger you, when you were starting out without confidence, what 3 nuggets of wisdom would you tell her? So tell us your age now and then answer the second one.
So my age is 24. I started all this when I was 17. What would I tell myself? 3 things. So number 1 is that you're as successful as your team. You don't have to. When I was in school doing these startups, I always wanted to be on top, and so did the other girls. And it was, girls can be me.
That's
And
right.
yeah, and I am embarrassed of how I acted, and I'm sure they are too. And now we come together and we're like, why did we fight about presidency or this or that or this club? You get farther when you're together, that no one has to be put down to be put up. And that's one of the biggest things. Number 2 is value yourself. You are not, whatever you think you are worth, times it by 3, because someone will see it. And don't ever settle for less just because you think society or someone else has set that on you. And then number 3 would be say no more often. I think I even struggle with it now. I'm way too nice. It's not being way too nice. It's just put yourself first sometimes. I know you want to make everyone else happy, but sometimes you need to put yourself first.
I love that. I absolutely love it. Now, I'm very, very curious to find out about your copywriting AI software. As you know, we are an online magazine, always trying to find ways to write faster. And how does it work? Tell us a little bit about the project that you're working on now, right?
Yes. So search engine optimization is how to get to the top of Google. That's what I was doing for this 30K a month client. And majority of it was backlinks, people linking to you, building out your blog. That's the name of the game. But if you build something, you still need something to lead people there. And it's all about keywording and doing research and figuring out topics, figuring out what people are searching. So I'm like, how can we automate what I'm doing at scale? And this costs someone $30,000 a month. How can I make it affordable so that a young blog can compete with Amazon's blog or Walmart's blog? So I searched, there's this new technology, which we got early access to. Elon Musk created it. And it's basically 107 billion parameters. It's memorized the full internet. And what you do is you just type in, hey, I want to write an article about this. It finds you the best headlines. It finds you the best topics. You type in one sentence and it will give you an introduction, middle, and now you as a business, people as a business, don't have to go and pay a full-time copywriter. And everyone often asks me, how's the quality good? You could tell if something's written by a bot. you cannot tell if something's written by a bot. Basically, everyone says, how does the bot know love? How does the bot know emotion? The bot has read every single book, website, everything on love. It can form its own opinions. And we add tone. And the best part is I've been working on this for 3 months. We're actually launching in 2 days. So I'm super excited. But it's gotten to the point where you type it in, it actually learns you. It learns your writing style. It learns what you are loving, and it's able to pump out this content.
That is just absolutely incredible. I am just so excited to sink my teeth in it as well. So is it open to the world right now? Where are you at if someone like me wanted to get access to it?
So I'm actually going and putting the website live in 3 hours.
Are you serious? So this is cutting edge. It's happening as we speak.
It's exciting. And I know it's Sunday night and I'm still at the office. When people say that, like, they just think success comes easy. Nope. I think I'm just starting and I'm putting in 17, 18-hour days. Like, just for this. But it launches in 2 days, where everyone can sign up on craftly.ai. Craftly is in like crafting content.
Right.
And they can take it for a swing themselves. And the best thing is, it doesn't replace creativity, or it enhances. It really
makes it easier.
Like a brainstorming buddy.
Yes, yes. Okay, so my last question for you is this. If you're going to have a conversation, let's say that time is an illusion and your past, your present, and your future exist in the same timeline, and you can have a conversation with the future you.
Mm-hmm.
At the age of 100, and you're sitting in your rocking chair reflecting back on your life, what would you say to her based on how you're living your life right now?
That's a good one. I've always thought of like the past me. I've never talked about the future me. I would say, let's say achieving my goals and my dreams, it's not if, it's how and when. For me, I have such determination that no matter what, I want to get there. And I would say that one of the biggest things I would tell the 100-year-old me is just remember your struggles as a woman going through it, the 10 failed companies, the times when men literally, like walking in a room and someone had told me, with a smile like that, you're never getting anywhere, as like a 17-year-old girl for an internship. And my biggest thing would be that when you get to where you want to be, always remember how you got there. Just because I think right now women compete way too much. Like, it's so hard to become who you are. Mm-hmm. And so because women have to like try so much harder, they almost gatekeep their position and gatekeep. And I found that like the woman mentors that I reached out to that had women organizations did not give me time of the day before. Now they do, but they did not. And
initially, they didn't see your potential.
I think it's more so that they thought the limelight would shine less on them, or that they like being the only girl in the room because it gives them an edge. Okay. And so my biggest thing is, don't ever forget where you came from, or the struggle, or the younger you, and make it your life's purpose to try to help people go through what you went through, or learn the same lessons that you learned.
Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My last question for you is this. Have I left any question out that I should have asked you?
No, you got me thinking.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming online and gracing us with your presence. And thank you to everybody who tuned in this morning. I told you we have some fascinating women who are going to be featured in the Herstory magazine. This is going to be a fascinating story. I will put all of the links so you get access to this amazing software. Come back again tomorrow when I interview yet another amazing young lady coming to us from a different part of the world. This is Gertrude Mache with the Herstory Circle. Have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. And thank you so much.